The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
Eric's Family Barbecue has arrived and is simply the best barbecue in Arizona. Come satisfy your taste buds with meats that are smoked over mesquite wood and sides that are made with fresh ingredients and tons of love. They have the best, juiciest brisket, pulled pork, rib sausage, turkey, or everyone's favorite, the Pitmaster Sampler that includes all the meat and 4 sides, mac and cheese, potato salad, coleslaw, corn, or beans, yum. And for dessert, try some creamy banana pudding, amazing. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meat, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip, you won't be sorry. Dine in or take it to go. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more info.
Rock Wars, the wake-up song and the you bastard sight of the day. Want to know more? Visit Holmberg's Morning 6 online at 98kupd.com.
I'm trying to... well, he's killing himself. This is terrible,
he's
Tom.
going out.
No, not here.
Take it
Not
anymore.
in front of us.
I can't take it anymore.
Attacked your throat. That was horrible to watch.
Oh my God.
It's pulling the wrong way.
I survived COVID. I survived all this stuff, and then I get strangled by
That was as bad as I've ever seen that go.
headphones wires.
Seconds passed.
Well, these are terrible.
Have you ever watched, there's 5-second films, and there's a character called Johnny Quick Death?
No.
And they do this thing. He's like, should Johnny be playing with those scissors? And the guy goes, no, he's good. And then you just see him and he's got him in his throat.
Hilarious.
That's exact. I looked down for a second to look up, and you had a noose.
I was Jesus.
I don't know how you did that.
A good lawsuit with Sennheiser.
Tom Papa
These aren't the
is
best.
he's at Stand Up Live this weekend.
Yeah, they're junk.
They are. They're terrible.
These are terrible.
Yeah, they are.
They're sticking out. They're not even on my ears.
Well,
You
it's
got it
because
from a homeless guy.
The guy that wears them is an Easter Island monolith. He's ruining it.
it feels
Yeah,
like it.
yeah, so you're sharing. In COVID days, we don't have guest heads.
Right.
We just let you use this dirty, giant-headed producer
Great.
head. So,
That's awesome.
Tom's at Stand Up Live this weekend. If you want to go down there, standuplive.com. And one of the most polished and prolific comedians of ever. Maybe.
Yeah.
You're pretty, you would agree?
Tommy Polish. That's what they call
Tommy
me.
Polish. The old Papa Polish is on that
Had
one.
to adjust it a little bit.
But I'm always fascinated by you because of the circles you run in. You were the most affable comedian maybe ever because you were in the Liberace movie, of course.
Yes.
Pals with Michael Douglas and all those guys. Jerry Seinfeld and you. And then the weird one that our audience would probably bond with most is Rob Zombie.
Martha Stewart. Oh, right.
Right. Well, I always confuse them.
and that too.
But the Rob Zombie thing, because you did a show with him, right?
Yeah, Rob and I actually just texted him yesterday. We did 2 comedy specials. He directed 2 of my specials. And we did the haunted movie of El Superbeasto, the crazy animated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get,
Rob
like,
is
because
the
you've
coolest.
got, like I was saying, like, who's it that did the Liberace movie?
Soderbergh and Damon and
all these
Douglas.
people in like super entertainment.
Yeah.
And you choose Rob Zombie to direct your special.
Yeah, well,
Why?
I mean, because he's a balls out artist. He's
Yeah.
like, he does not mess around. He loves comedy.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine. So when I was like, I want to make something that makes it feel like a film, I was like,
He's your guy.
Yeah, he's a no-brainer.
And also, he was the cheapest.
No.
I can imagine.
Well, everybody when everybody had to be the cheapest to do it because the budget was so small. So they showed up and had to adjust and be the cheapest.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing better than like having Rob on your side, and anything you would say, I would say of like, I think I want dancing girls. He's like, all right, it's gonna happen.
So he's a go
and
guy.
then he's go.
He's like an improv yes and all the way.
All the way,
Yeah, see, that's
100%. It really makes you about your own life.
Right.
Let's make that
Like, I
happen.
think I'm positive, and I think I'm moving forward, and I
Right.
think I'm like visualizing everything that I want. And then you look at Rob, and you're like,
Nope.
I'm not there yet.
I say no too much.
Yeah, because and and then he would go up and say, Tom wants dancing girls, and they would say no, and he just stares at them as Rob Zombie, and is like, so we're gonna get them, and they'd be like, yes, sir, and they go, dude, because you're not gonna mess with that guy.
No.
you're not gonna mess with Rob.
And that's probably another reason why he's great to have in your team because the higher-ups have no clue what Rob Zombie is. As far as, like, just the look scares them to death.
Oh,
right?
100%.
Yeah, and that's got to be great.
He can work that.
And
yeah.
what is the most surprising thing as a friend of Rob Zombie's that Tom Papa would say, wow, this is kind of a
The most surprising thing, which is pretty well known, is that he's a vegan, a hardcore vegan.
Is he a bitch about it though? Let's be honest. Does he bother you when you eat meat?
Disgusted if you have meat.
Yes.
Ugh.
But unlike your nephew who's gone vegan for this week,
right?
And is like, Rob's just like, you eating? Really? You gonna eat that? All right.
He just gives you
just like hardcore, like. He makes you
the ultimate guilt. You feel like you're just
the same feeling you get with eating meat of like, oh, we're hardcore badass.
Yeah.
We're eating this. He makes you feel that about eating tofu. You're like, yeah, man, we're eating plants.
Destroy that.
Let's go. Give me some seitan nachos. Let's go.
Yeah.
And then you're like, meat eaters are sissies. Really, he does. He has that power. And when I stopped, I was a vegan for a little bit when we did one of the specials. And I was like his buddy, and we were like eating.
You felt the pressure of zombie to make you a vegan.
No, I did it before, but then when I was with him, I felt the pride of being a vegan with him.
Right.
And then when I stopped, when we hadn't been hanging out, and I had a hot dog at Yankee Stadium,
oh, that's it.
And I was just like,
it
came roaring back in a very big way, and I literally was frightened to tell him.
No kidding.
I still, to this day, this is no joke, to this day, when I post things on Instagram about, I like to cook. I cook these big Italian meals and stuff. If I post like a meatball, I think as I'm pressing post.
What's going to happen?
I hope Rob doesn't see this.
Does he text you on it or?
He hasn't, but I know he knows.
Yeah.
You
just feel it.
He knows. Yeah.
Sellout, bro. You're a sellout.
Once you put the meatball in the ether.
Oh, he's like, you see what Tom's doing?
And you think he judges you and looks down on you a little bit about that?
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
Because he's hardcore. He's like, he doesn't mess around. He's like,
because I don't tolerate vegans with push. I eat meat so rare. Like
bleeding.
Oh, it's uncooked. Like when I worked in a restaurant in college, I wasn't allowed to handle the ground beef because I would
start eating it.
I do. When I'm on good diets and workout, I do my meat wads, I call them, and I'll just take piles of ground beef and roll it on the thing for like a second, and it's just blood red.
Really?
Steakhouses are like, how do you want to prepare it? I'm like, it's done right now. If you guys have to put it on fire, do it. I like it rare.
Okay, so do I.
Raw.
So do I.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Where are you going?
You're a purple guy.
But I'm a purple guy. Like, I like that too.
Yeah.
And I was grilling the other day at home, and I was like, psh, psh.
Yep.
And I was like, I really want to eat it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then am I just pretending to cook the bad things off of it, or is it healthy to eat?
See, I think we've been lied to because I can eat it right out of the package and nothing's ever gone wrong.
Really?
I can't see out of this eye, but that has nothing to do with it.
That's all right. Who can at this age?
Exactly.
Other proteins.
It's true.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's that separate. You're good.
Yeah. So there's no so it's healthy to just.
You know how I know healthy? It's because if you drop some on the ground, you never go, don't eat that to your dog. They're fine. And you just know that you just protect yourself a little bit just in case. There's nothing on it that's bad.
Look, I'm all for however anyone wants to eat, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel better when I'm eating meat.
Me
feel
too.
Like when I was going vegan for a while, I would sit in the green room of whatever club I was at, just gassed.
Yeah.
You
need some meat.
And I was like, and once I started eating a little more, I was just, I feel better.
And I think the phrase "I feel better eating meat" was on the bottom of the Liberace movie poster, wasn't it? I think that was actually part of the film. If I'm not, you're quoting your own movies now.
I think you're close. I think it was "I Eat It Raw."
I like it bloody.
It was from one of those documentaries. But this doctor from years ago went. He said, "I'm just going to eat meat for the entire time."
Yeah.
For a whole year, because he was coming off being a vegan. Because he's like this vegan thing. Mm-hmm. He goes if you go over to Antarctica and some of those villages, there's no vegetables.
There's villages in Antarctica?
Right.
I don't even know about
they're adorable.
They're nice little
That's where Santa lives.
Oh, no, it's the
other.
He moved.
Antarctica.
He's in the South.
It's a summer house.
Yeah, where the Inuits.
It's where he summers.
But it's like seals, so he went over there.
No vegetables.
For a year.
Yeah.
No vegetables. More energy. He's like he just wanted to see what would happen to nutrition and all that.
Yeah.
And it didn't drop off any more than.
I'm still fascinated by the villages of Antarctica because I think they swung
So
the election
adorable.
for Trump.
The one I'm talking about is amazing. It's a party town.
Yeah, I didn't
There's
even
a
know
little
that.
university in there.
The only thing about Antarctica I know as far as life is from the movie The Thing. I think that's the only time that they were just in that.
And
And
again,
The
no
Thing?
vegetables.
And they
Again.
start eating that meat.
Not a vegan.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of the thing that I liked about doing it, and I met my wife false pretenses because she was a vegetarian since she was 16, and she met me, and she's like, I met a cool guy, and he's a vegetarian. This is great. I found my soulmate.
Nice.
And then I was like coming in with a pack of hot dogs.
Sneaking in
6
wieners.
months later. Yeah, exactly. But all that stuff, I think. It just makes you thoughtful about what you eat.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you end up eating raw meat or you end up, at least you're thinking about, you're not just a garbage pail who's just, not thinking
Right.
about it all. And it's nice.
Defending Brady right now, but
Right.
you're right.
I felt it. I felt
You
his
that,
eyes.
That was the zombie burn on
I'm
the
in
meatball.
Antarctica right
You don't do that. Tom Papa's at Stand Up Live tonight and tomorrow if you want to head over there, standuplive.com. And it seems like, because I bring up that you're like, you got Rob Zombie and all your super celebrity friends. That you've captured the flag. You've got it all. Like you can make a call and anything happens. Is there any celebrity that you've run into and you're like, Tom Papa just cannot break this one?
Oh, yeah. There's some.
Because you seem to be the guy that can just you can assimilate to everything.
Yeah, I will. If you walk by as a celebrity, I will jump on your coattails.
Right, you will do that.
And I will hang on like no one else has.
Have you tried and gotten kind of caught?
No, because I'm not playing it. Like if I meet somebody and
mean
I'm, like those guys that you mentioned, they're all we just clicked, and there was like a creative and a fun thing, and they're not comedians, and to hang with a comic is always fun for them, I guess, and. Yeah, but there's definitely a whole bunch that you've met, and it's just like it doesn't happen, and you're like, yeah, all right.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated because you've stayed normal. You've been at this for a long time. You've been successful for a long time. You've stayed normal, and I don't know how that is. As normal
you
as
should
you
see
can
me
be.
in my hotel room.
Oh, really?
Oh, it gets
Is that
crazy.
an invitation, Tom Papa?
Cheez-Its, and we're going nuts in there.
The Tom Papa Memorial.
Processed everything.
I'm in. Just garbage dump.
Cheese is it. I mean, look, when I say beautiful and think about it, it's also, it means that when you are eating like garbage, you're just aware of it.
Right.
Like when I walk through an airport, I have to go get those shiny bags of Cheez-Its. And they're doing great work, by the way. Yeah. I mean, the number,
Real
them
cheese
and the
in there.
Oreo people are stepping up. They were like, we could just make Cheez-Its, or we can make 1,200 types of Cheez-Its.
Right.
I'm
Makes
all in
sense.
on all of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just, what, comedians, I think, more than anyone else can stay normal because you have a craft that you're working on.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to get better at it, it's going to humble you and make you
Sure.
normal.
It'll
'Cause
step
you're-
on you fast.
It'll step on you, and I literally was talking about this the other day that I've been doing stand-up, 25 years.
Wow.
And I still feel like I'm starting.
Yeah.
Which is it's just
Scary.
at the nature of the beast. It's like if you're constantly putting out new material and trying stuff out, you're going to feel vulnerable and you're going to feel it's new, which is great.
Do you have that feeling in your head while you do that? And this has to be for people who've been at it for a while, that this is the one? This is the one that's not going to work. Does that imposter's complex come into
Failure.
play constantly? When does the muse go? When is it no longer a thing? And you keep trying out new stuff, and you're like, uh-oh. Like, it's good,
Yeah.
but you're like, do you ever worry about that? Or is that something like, this is all good? Because I would be a wreck.
I know, but you know what? I interviewed Carl Reiner once. He was 90 years old.
Yeah.
And he was sitting in his house. I went and interviewed him for my podcast in his house. And he's literally sitting at this little L-shaped desk, and he had a monitor. And this was the desk where he wrote the first 12 Dick Van Dykes by himself.
Wow.
Literally. And on the computer at 90 was a book that he was writing. He's still
he's still going.
And I said to him, I asked the question, "Do you ever have writer's block?" He goes, "No." He goes, I never understood it. Sit down and start writing. Just start writing. You don't have to sit there and wait for this grand idea and this grand thing. This has got to be the funniest. Just spit it out, and then go back and go to work on it. Like it is like a blue collar pursuit. Writing is like
it's crazy to me because I would be so hard on myself with every word.
Well, you keep yourself to a high standard.
It's so true. The bar, and you see it in my appearance.
Look at your career.
You see how I'm dressed and the way I look.
Yeah,
you know I have
very
a high bar.
rarely do people do radio with French cuffs.
It's true.
And
why wouldn't you? My question
was,
why is no one trying this?
Right, exactly. I understand it.
It's the way I should. Yeah.
A cigarette holder that you have hanging out of your mouth at all times is it's inspiring.
And it makes
for real.
And I know you guys don't even see it because it's so natural.
You never noticed that before?
No, that's because Tom
never saw his monocle?
He's new to the room, so he sees Werner or everyone else.
Peanuts when I look at him, you know?
Mr. Peanut?
No, when I saw him go for his smoke break outside, walking with that gold cane, I was like, he's got it.
Yeah.
He's still evolving.
There's something about this guy.
You should have, because when the guys carry me in the morning, I'm like, I just want to stay humble the entire time. I want to make sure that everybody knows that this hasn't gone to my head.
Yeah. But that's the in all seriousness, that's the thing that stops great art is the judgment.
Yeah, and I do it.
And we do it. We all do it.
Yeah.
And then you just got to beat that little thing down. You got to just be like, get out of here.
That's usually the problem at the computer.
Well, as I said, my hotel room is a disaster.
That's my writer's block. Is that my right hand just goes, nah, we're doing something else. All right, fine.
Beating it down. That's the name of your new book.
Beat the little thing down. Beat that little thing down. It's true. I mean, I destroy it. But yeah, it's I've tried because I've sat down and tried to write things. Just for my own sake, not necessarily because I want to do anything like crazy like that. But I'm like, I can't do it. I go back and I read it. Like nobody would be interested.
Well, the problem is going back and reading it.
I know.
Keep going.
But who do you give it to after that?
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
Who needs to see it?
That's what I think.
They'll find it after you're dead, and maybe whoever that person is, they may or may not be interested. Does
this look infected? Will be my epitaph.
I always think about like those people who do die, and like you find, and they have like reams of stuff on him, or like bands, like when you like see Dylan, like there's so many photos of him in the early days. It was like these people knew. Yeah. They were like collecting stuff like the world's going to want to see this. I saw Andy Warhol he started at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, the art university. Yeah. And they had a display, an installment of Warhol. And it was from the beginning of his artistic life to the end. And there were, every single year was boxed up of all of his work and all of the stuff. And these people knew, like, they're going to want
before, long before,
right?
Yeah.
And how many times do you like look at meaningful stuff in your garage and you're like, screw it, right in the trash?
Yeah. You know what's crazy about every time I watch documentaries, I'm like, who films themselves this much through life?
Exactly.
And they've got home videos of like, these, and I'm like, there's no evidence of my existence from like I'm like Jesus, like you don't know me from 5 to 30. There's
like
nothing.
One snapshot.
But Andy, he stays overnight at someone's house. Here's a box for you. I wanted to get
right.
It.
Yeah, you're
going
to
see that on Antique Roadshow.
Yeah,
right. Like, I got this from.
I got a napkin that Andy Warhol passed to somebody.
Because I'm like, if somebody said, "Oh, John was in a murder and this is how he grew up," there'd be no good documentary. You'd have to just go in today's stuff.
They'd have to do like a slow push in, Ken Burns push in of the one snapshot of you at Halloween with a bag at 10 years old.
Casper with that plastic mask and sweat on my lip
on the radio.
Yeah, and then they just play clips of this, me saying horrible things and like make me work.
Your dad in plaid pants behind you with a rat. That was the only photo.
Putting it out on me.
Of course he was a serial killer. Look how he lived.
Yeah, I
the Amway years.
Because I'm not a religious guy and I don't believe in like all the, but I halfway believe that like exactly what you said, people who know. Yeah. I think maybe that's why this generation believes they're famous all the time is because there's so many pictures and there's such a chronicling of their lives.
Yeah, they all think they're Dylan.
They're important.
They all think they're Dylan.
Because who is nobody? It was an effort to take photos prior to the phone.
And you had to go get them developed. You didn't see them for a week.
And you stood in front of that thing so the one dick thing didn't get shown at the Walgreens. You can't.
Those are the ones that you want.
Yeah.
Dylan dick pics? Is that what that's what I was thinking?
Oh, there's so many.
I saw that on
that was
actually
that installment was coming into Carnegie Mellon after when Warhol left. That was going to be the next thing. The sad bird.
The watchtower. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think that same thing. We were watching a documentary a while ago, and I'm like, it was the Mia Farrow and Wood thing.
Yeah.
They knew something was going to go wrong. They filmed every second of these kids' lives to make this later.
I know.
So it was almost like you had, like there's a reason to want to monitor things that much.
I have a lot of, the girl I was with in my college years, I'm no longer with. And I know she has all the photos.
Oh, boy.
She has all the photos from...
Waiting.
Yeah, and it's like, waiting, yeah. Please, no one's interested in me just being stoned on my couch.
She's going to put out that pop-amentary.
Yeah. This is when he was stoned watching the Super Bowl. This is when he was stoned during The Simpsons. This is when he was stoned at Christmas. They're not exciting, but for me, I'd like to see them.
Right.
But that's like, I have to contact her and get them. It's like,
Well, that's where we're different, because I think any girl that was with me ever has thrown out every photo. I don't know if there's any reason
in a
to
bonfire, very dramatically.
Right, you don't stumble across photos of me and like, oh, keep that. It's just, oh God, why do we have photos of Squidward as a kid?
they were put on a voodoo doll. Right. They were messed with for a week.
I would like to see
that.
Like, I would like that to be the thing. That would be the only reason an afterlife would interest me, is because it's like, all right, let's go see what people did after you left their lives.
Okay, so you don't believe in
anything,
no, right? I remember that. I rember you.
Zero.
I know we had this conversation at some point.
But I'm actually what you'd call an extreme atheist.
Don't you feel that there is something unique and special that we're here?
Sure.
That this is the kind of a miracle that we
absolutely
exist, and that we exist, and that we we run into each other intermittently throughout this little life. Like, there is this kind of a thing.
There's something we don't know. I just don't think we've come up with the answer. So
You say we choose.
I just don't buy what we've come up with so far.
Our human translation of whatever that universal field kind of is. You don't think anyone's really dialed it in.
The answer's
You're not buying that putting on a big Pope hat and walking around is the way.
Yeah, something to me says this might be a goof.
Majority of it has corruption.
growing pigtails off the side and wearing a big black hat.
You know
that's not
why I know the Jews are wrong? said 1938.
Let me tell you why they're wrong.
Let me tell you about this solution I've come up with.
Welcome to my book tour.
Because
speaking of writing,
any quality deity is going to say you have to wear wool unless you live in Phoenix.
Right.
Because I live by a Jewish temple, and on Saturday these poor people, like, they're the authentic. They're walking around in the gear in 112 degrees. They're not allowed to drive.
Right.
They can't use the
walk
machine.
to the shul.
They're hoofing it.
Right.
And it's 110. I'm like, your God does not love you.
The women are in wigs.
Yeah, and then you think where they started and stuff was hot too.
Yeah.
This is not a quality representation from somebody who likes you. If my dad told me it's 140, put your coat on. I'm like, this guy doesn't like me. He's trying to kill me.
Get your wool hat.
Yeah, get your wool hat.
Start walking 3 miles.
Grow the biggest bush of hair you can do. You're not allowed to cut that either. And walk places. I'm like, this guy hates me.
So we're talking about religion then. So
I find it
because
all
religion, but the corruption part of it.
Well, there's
the
that.
background of it and choosing
it's just bad.
money, power, and it always is like,
and it just is nonsense to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It is all. There's no way to describe this. Whatever.
Right.
This unique, special miracle that we are living.
I'm open to whatever it is, and you know what? I could be wrong.
No.
And that's one thing religion never says.
You're right, exactly. Yeah. Well, look, they're all making an attempt at it, and it's all right. So someone's wrong. Like, I mean, your little rules and your little whatever. Yeah. They all are trying to tap into probably that miracle thing that we're feeling.
Yeah.
But, I'm with you.
Yeah, I just don't feel
I know one thing about my beliefs. Our God is an awesome God.
All right, here we go. See, they come up with songs.
You know what? When I got in the car, Brad, I was like, is he going to sing it? You think he'll sing it?
How long into it?
At what point do you think he's going to sing it?
Yeah.
I'm not going unless he sings it.
The over-under was 8 minutes.
I said.
The over-under was 8 minutes.
They're like, Tom, do you want to do press? I said, no. They're like, well, what about the one stop?
And you already won $100 on the When Will Holmberg Say Jesus Hates Me? It's coming. But yeah, I'm not, I'm just kind of unafraid of the whole religious aspect of things. It doesn't interest me because I feel like I do feel it's crutchy in certain regards that people, and we're to each their own on trying to figure this out, because I haven't figured it out, but neither have they.
No, I'm with you. 100%. I mean, but there's the bleak atheists that feel like they won't even recognize that there is something special going on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that I can't.
Well, they're stubborn.
I grew up Catholic, and I understand. And, those stops, like those religions, they're the same things as, like, meditating or, like, what. They're all just they're all like a little rest area off the freeway where you stop and just try and think about that spiritual part. Right? That's what it is.
Yes.
And then it's abused and completely all the bad stuff that comes with it, 100%.
Yeah.
But I don't fault them all for giving it a shot.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you're making an attempt to try and
make sense of it. My anger
with
the Catholic Church comes from the fact that if Walmart had a thousands years old rape problem, they'd at least change the name.
You think so?
There'd be some rebranding.
You think that they would at least have one marketing guy go,
He always makes...
we've got to change the name. It's associated with this, and we've got to change the name.
We're going with the footlong.
I know, but they got rid of the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't hang on to the guy.
We've been relocating our managers.
Yeah.
Just move them to a store.
It's like all these Irish, like, welcome to Walmart, how you been? I'm like, what the hell's he doing here? I just come over. I'm not allowed to work at the Walmart in Dublin no more.
Did you hear he's working in Albuquerque now?
Yeah, he's out there in New Mexico, yeah. He got moved. He got shuttled.
He's working in Albuquerque, you say.
Not attracted to Native American kids, so it should be all right.
We got to get you out of the toys department. We got to get you in another.
So I just feel like
it really is such a bummer.
Yeah.
It really is so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And it's fun for...
Because I was raised that way. Like, that was... I literally was in the church that Bill Maher was...
Oh, really?
Went to as a
Same
child.
one.
When he started Religulous, that documentary... it starts in the church at Our Lady of Mercy, where we in the same town.
Did you guys grow up together? I mean, he's older.
Yeah, he's so much older.
Yeah, he's very old.
He's so old.
He's almost 70.
He's so old.
Yeah. It's hard to look at him. He's so old.
Yeah, he was like 10 years ahead of me, like in the same high school and stuff. But it was that same church.
Nope.
And I was raised that, and I liked it. I liked being raised.
Right.
I love that we were taught to be nice to each other and all that stuff. So when I don't go anymore, but every once in a while I will. When
you screw up.
Yeah, you know what? That's when I did go in New York, and I brought my daughter was kind of like searching as a young kid, and she wanted to go to church.
Right.
And I was like, I'll take you to church. And my wife, by the way, was same church as a kid. We grew up in the same hometown. And she was like, that was the first thing. I thought she was going to be like, oh, that's nice you're bringing her to church. Like, oh, you go explore it. I'm not into it, but good for you. But she literally, that was what she said. What have you done?
What did you do that you need to say?
Right. Why?
What
did you
cleansing?
do? Yeah. What are you asking for forgiveness for? But I went in and, I liked all that stuff. But my kids, one did not want to go at all.
Yeah.
And the other one, was a little more spiritual. She was poking around and wanted to kind of see. And I was like, can you raise a kid without being told by someone outside of the house to be nice to people? Like, will we make good people? Are we being irresponsible parents? They're
not mutually exclusive.
They're so much nicer than I am.
Right.
They didn't need a priest telling you're a piece of garbage,
right.
and that you're original sin, and that you're an awful person. It turns out if they just watch Barney and be nice to people, you're going to be just as holy as someone that went to Sunday
Sister
school.
Buddy with a ruler.
You're right. You didn't have to grab someone by an ear and drag them down the hallway.
Tom's right. The Catholic way of beating kindness into you is not necessary.
No, it turns out shame doesn't have to be a part of it.
It could be easy. Although I grew up without it, and I feel that shame makes me feel better. So I do it to other people to bring myself up.
Well, yeah, that's
good.
A nice. It was funny last night. I was after the show. I went with my opening act, Jill. We went to a bar. We were like the corner, and we were sitting here just having a drink, and there was a couple over there. And the guy was struggling. He was on a date with this girl, and you could tell she wasn't into him. He's just motor mouth, like trying to make something happen.
Nervous.
Yeah. And at a certain point, he was whatever he was saying. She kept glancing over at us, and I was like, "Oh, he's like cranking on us."
Right.
He's right.
He's pounding you guys.
Yeah, he's pounding us.
Look at that couple over there.
And it's so funny because, like, as a young man, if I saw somebody doing that in a bar, I would be like, "What's he doing?" Like, let's go. It's go time. Like, and this time I was like, you know what? That's really what we are. I'm an extra right now in his struggle, and he needs me right now. He needs to make fun of my hair or what we're talking about. He needs to dump on us so he can get through this conversation with her. You know what? Have at it.
And that's good
for you.
You're a wingman in a way.
He's totally. Exactly. I'm like, you know what? We are everyone's wingman in life.
You're flaming out right now. I'm here for you.
I'm here for you. Yeah. Look at this sissy drink I'm drinking.
Crash and burn, huh, man? You actually, when you gave me last time, you wrote down you won't read it, and you signed it.
I should have brought the new one. I had the new one.
So I did read a lot of it, and
it.
just like what you just said, there's some stuff in there like I'm going to take that with me. There's a lot of like good, insightful stuff, but nothing quite as you're an extra in somebody else's story.
Well, yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
because if you can do that, you'll entertain yourself all night.
Well, when you see it in the book, and you see an expression of the next book that I'm working on, and it's entitled Wingman. You know who
got it.
You know who came up with it. I'll thank you. I'll thank you in the thing.
It's the unknown wingman.
Yeah, the unknown wingman.
You didn't even know I was
a loaf of bread makes it all go away.
Because now, next dinner I'm at, I'm going to look around for the struggling date and make him know that he's pointing at me going, there's that jackass. And maybe I'll like pick.
Yeah.
Do a little nose
help
thing.
him out a little bit.
And act like I'm eating it or like, look at this guy. And then they'll bond.
What a jerk.
And the next thing you know, it's like
you're doing God's work.
I'm doing that.
Now, that was your Dad Stole My Rake, right?
Yes.
That's how long ago it was.
How long ago was that?
Because I had another book come out.
You did?
Called You're Doing Great and Other Reasons to Stay Alive.
Keep raking.
And keep on raking.
The book was great.
Oh, thanks.
Then you
I should have brought the new one.
Autographing a book saying you won't read this.
Yeah.
Is the I always like this challenge. I got all mad about it.
I'm gonna read some of it.
I'm gonna learn to read just to show him.
I'm gonna skim it.
Yeah, I got through most of that.
I did some.
Yeah, I don't read either.
Cliff notes.
Damn.
I hate reading. I'm like, I can't wait for Tom's movie about this book to come out. And
It's
then there
so
it is, so I
funny.
had to read it.
I have a new book out called You're Doing Great and Other Reasons to Stay Alive. Excuse me. And I have a new assistant who was supposed to send books to the club because I was like, I like that. My favorite thing is signing books after the show. It's just a great way to like interact with people. And my new assistant, who's, God bless him, he's just out of college. He's figuring it out.
Right.
He's like, I just want you to know the books will be waiting. You can be able to sell your books when you get there. And I get there, and there's literally a box with 10 books in it. I'm like,
he doesn't have
we're
high
doing
bars.
5 sold-out shows at Stand Up Live. He's like, you're going to be so busy on stage. I figure if you sell one a show.
When does he do it? When does he do it?
I don't want Tom to get carpal tunnel autographing a bunch of books. Get 10. That ought to do it. You're going to rest after the 5th book and then start again.
My new assistant thinks I have no game.
Right.
He's like, how many are you going to sell?
It's
really,
he's
2
like,
boxes?
Who buys books?
Right.
And at this age, that's like saying, we're going to need rubbers, and you get one.
Oh, damn it. Brad, remember, we got to send these guys the new book.
Yes, absolutely.
And make them read again.
I'll try again. He's keeping me on my reading
there
level.
illustrations?
There's a couple drawings.
Okay, good.
There will be when he's done with it.
Right.
A lot of art in that one when he's all done. Tom Papa's at Stand Up Live this weekend. You want to go standuplive.com. What is your podcast called?
Breaking Bread with Tom Papa.
Yeah, and who are you? Like, who's your best guest?
Oh man,
you've had some
good.
big names.
I had your local hero Chris Bianco was on it.
Oh, did you?
Because it's comedy and it's food.
Okay.
So I had Chris on, and then like Rogan and
you've done it all.
I've done a lot of great people. Yeah, we just had the filmmakers from Dick Gregory's.
Oh, really?
The new documentary on Showtime.
We just showed a clip of that.
Oh, so good. Those guys are great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a man. It's inspiring.
Really,
it's inspiring until you get to the vegan part.
And then
you're
going
to turn it off.
Then I'm
but
just
that's okay.
Down.
You don't have to watch all of it.
You have to believe all of it.
Yeah, you're busy.
When I'm done being entertained, it's over.
Look, you got French cuffs to shop for.
Well, they're being delivered by my people.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm not going to go shop for them. That'll be ridiculous.
Right, but I have to whip my new people when they come. Yeah, we've had so many great guests, and the whole idea was to be able to sit down and like break bread with people because there's nothing better. Like if you have somebody on who you kind of know, and you ask them 2 questions. If you ask them, "What did you eat today?" That's going to open it up. Yeah. And then who, when you were a kid, like when you were sick at home, who was making the food that would make you feel better?
Great question.
Yeah, it's like it just opens up stuff, and then I give them bread. I actually bake bread when they. I should have brought you bread.
It's a good interview
I'm so
question.
Sorry, I didn't even think. I really apologize.
You'll get your
Brad, write down bread and book.
Book?
Book and bread.
Yeah. Wonder Brad.
Get these guys some treats. What is
well,
wrong
by
with
the time
us?
it gets to a croutons.
Well, cool.
Yeah, with a note. I never said I would bake you bread. I said I would send you bread.
It's the bag of Hawaiian buns.
Yeah. which are not to be messed with.
No, they are not.
Oh my God.
I'll eat the whole thing.
Oh, my
that whole
God.
bag's gone. I don't like having those in the house.
Do you like tuna? Do you make tuna?
Oh, yeah.
Tuna sandwich on those?
I don't make
on the
any.
hamburger on those buns.
Things just show up at my house.
Well, all right already.
I'm just saying that's not.
You're a
that's
big
not.
deal.
No, that's not bougie. That's lazy.
They'll send the bread to you. You won't eat.
I'll
this.
tell you this. Yeah. Oh, I'll show him this loaf's done.
You won't eat this.
Yeah. Like tuna fish is too hard of a preparation.
What?
Yeah, I just don't like
just
it. I like
mayo in it?
Bring it in.
Yeah,
I don't
I
don't like mayo. I just eat it out of the can, or I don't eat it.
Oh, really?
Chicken of the sea with a little tiny wood spoon.
Yeah.
So this eating raw meat, it wasn't out of like a
laziness.
Diet. It's just
I don't like the fire.
I could cook it. I could put it into a hamburger, or I could just put it in my body.
I look over at a full sink of stuff, and I'm like, I'm just going to add to it if I cook it.
Earlier days, it was just ramen right out of the packet.
Yeah, just crunching. My mom used to get mad because I'd eat spaghetti out of the box. I did. It's laziness. It's complete laziness. I just don't like cooking.
And almost impossible to eat spaghetti raw.
Yeah, you'd be surprised after like your teeth are like, what's going on? You get used to it. You start realizing it.
Letting your saliva do its first part of its job.
Brett will hate this, but I just take a jar of ragu, I open it up, that's the drink, and then I just pop it. He's so Italian when it comes to the gravy.
Dude, I had Jessie May Peluso, you know her?
Yeah.
Really funny comedian. Mm-hmm. She was on she's very Italian. She comes from a real Italian family. And she was just on my podcast, and we were talking. We really ginsed out. Like we talked about everything. I almost left my wife and was like, Jesse, we're gonna just forget comedy, forget everything. We're gonna just go live in Little Italy together for the rest of our days. And I just love her so much. And she said that her grandmother, who made all the legendary meals for her through her whole life, Christmas, the whole thing, Nana sauce, like the whole thing, and she let her little Jesse follow her around and make the food. Right. And she's like. Brings her to the pan. She's like, now, shh. She like little, let me show you a little secret. She opened it up. She took out a thing of ragu. Oh. And she goes, we're going to doctor it up. No one will ever know. That was her legendary grandma sauce.
God.
And it made me think how many grandmothers probably did that.
Lie. Yeah. That's right. That's what you hope.
Hey, you let that simmer all day, you got gravy.
Look, he's so Italian, Tom, that yesterday we were talking about Frank Stallone, and he started to glow a little bit. All right.
I just teared up when you said it.
See, and something wrong with you guys.
It's a guinea thing.
Dude, Sylvester Stallone's kids go to my kids' school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and one of them was graduating. We went to our friend's graduation ceremony, and it was so because it was in the Rose Bowl because of COVID, so everyone was spread out in the Rose Bowl.
God.
Yeah, and literally they announced, no, Stallone. And I heard behind me Rocky going, you did it! Adrian!
That's awesome.
So awesome. I was like, this is a pretty funny life.
Yeah, that's just a weird moment.
That's Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
You did it! It was unmistakable.
I like it. Even with celebrities.
Hey, congratulations, Rocky. Your kid looks great up there.
Take it to the zoo. Yeah. I hear they like the zoo.
Tom Papa at Stand Up Live. Tom, leave us with words of wisdom, please.
Love each other. Just keep loving each other.
Wow, that would create too many people.
I didn't say bone each other.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood. Tom Papa, everybody. Stand Up Live. Thanks, as usual, man.
Oh, you guys are the best.
98 KUPD.
Arizona's most powerful rock radio station.
He said, fully erect.
98 KUPD.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.